Alright guys, I'm here to get you a little bit better at Pro Club. Specifically, if it's like you're really new to the game, this video is going to help you. So hit the like button, and before we get into this, I want to say a thank you to our sponsor, OneFootball. Their link is at the top of the description. It is a mobile football app for Android or iOS, and it's totally free. If you like the sound of that, give it a try. On top of that, it's got over 100 leagues. I've been working with them for over a year now. I've been using OneFootball for 2 years. It's never let me down. Apart from yesterday when it told me the Fulham Spurs game was cancelled. You didn't have to break my heart that early, OneFootball. The earliest updates, you can follow as many teams as you like in world football. I couldn't recommend it anymore. Give it a go for yourself, download it now, and thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring this content. Top 5 tips to get you... Okay, obviously, these 5 tips are going to help you if you're a newer player. They're going to get you better, but you're going to need to play the game. So, disclaimer. The first big tip that I'm going to say though, and it is the most obvious of the 5, is don't be a selfish arsehole. Pass the football. I play a lot of pro clubs. I play a lot of pro clubs with different YouTubers and friends who come in and play with us. Always within 1 or 2 touches of the ball, I can tell if they're decent based off of whether they're going to play the entire game like they're Messi without any of the ability. You have to pass the football. You have to know when to make runs so that other people can make runs for you, and that will come in time from watching better players than you play and picking up things from other players. But the number one thing is just don't try to do absolutely everything yourself, because so many people make that mistake. And yeah, it never works out. The second big tip, again, pretty straightforward, is builds. Now, if you're looking for the best build, you're in the right place. In the top right-hand corner right now, popping up are striker, cam, CDM, all the builds that we use. And like, we've gone 140-0, so we kind of know what we're doing. We're not the best in the world. We're kind of good though. We're not the best, but we're kind of good. So you can use these builds to improve for sure. It's pretty much the same as FIFA 20, unfortunately, and that striker 5'4", cam 5'4", CDM, I mean 5'6", realistically. Like, you don't want to be too tall again on this FIFA in the attacking or the midfield builds, to be honest. So, if you're looking for more in-depth on that, of course, going through all the builds would take a little bit of time right now. But click that eye in the top right, click off, go watch that, come back for the last 3 tips. I don't know, you do what you want to do. It's New Year's Eve, and I know you're not going out, so you've got time. Tip number 3, and it's not really controversial, because it's just common sense. If you've played the game for more than like 5 minutes, you understand to use an any. Now, I can already hear you complaining who don't play with an any. Can I just set the record straight? If you don't play with an any, you never play against a team with an any. Just change the filters on the match search so that you only match a team that has the same settings as you. Now that I've put all those moaning tits in a corner, playing with an any seems like, yeah, okay, JCC, like, obviously I know to play with an any, but play with a good any. Now, that is not something that you can do if your friends and you are all stinky at FIFA, but you can pick up tips. And like I said before, we've got a video on how to play any and the best position and builds. And I think what I need to do is release a full, more in-depth video on how our any does play Billy. I mean, he's definitely one of the best in the world. But we've also got Rodinho, who's very good. Basically, whoever is best in your squad at FIFA needs to go any. They need to get used to playing. Now, some quick tips I can give you if you are listening and you're an any and you're like, I just can't use these terrible CPUs. I get it. It gets easier the more divisions you go up. Genuinely does, because now in Division 1, these CPUs are like 88, 89 rated, so they're actually pretty usable. One big tip though, even when you're in the lower divisions, is to just trust them a little bit, and I know that's a bit hard because they are mentally fragile, to say the least. But give them the ball. Like, a lot of people that we come up against in the lower divisions when we're getting a new club going and leveling it up are very, very, very easy to read because they only want to pass to the virtual pros. So if you're playing 3v3 and I can see that 2 of them have green afros and one of them's 5 foot with, you know, and he's bald, it's pretty obvious which ones they're going to aim the ball to all the time. So like, the any can just cover those passing lanes, and people never want to go backwards. You need to use the CPUs around you as much as you can. That doesn't mean you play like Prime Barcelona and you play it across the back constantly. That's not what I'm talking about. You want to be getting it to your pros as much as possible, but mix it up every now and then on attacks. Go to a centre mid, go to the fullback, bring it back in, just so that they're not always reading the passing lanes of the strikers that you're trying to pass the ball to, who are your mates. When you're in any, it's important to get the right formation. I mean, we, like I said in that video, always set up in a 5-2-1-2 or a 4-1-2-1-2. And in that video, we have a breakdown of our custom tactics. So again, in the eye in the top right-hand corner, or in the link in the description, there is a link to that video, so you can click that now. You can go and send that to your Any if you think he's terrible at the game. A reminder, if you're still listening at this point, to please go ahead and subscribe. We are all the tips you need for pro clubs, and if you are enjoying, it would do us a big favour. We're nearly at 166k. It'd be good to get there before the new year. We're like 50 subs away, so if you're listening now and you're not subscribed, you could help. Tip number 4 is a big one, and it's a tough one. Drop-ins. Try not to play them. I know that if you're on your own and you don't have a good group of friends who play pro clubs, this might get difficult for you. So maybe I can integrate 0.5 slightly in that I'm going to give you guys in 0.5 some places where you can find people to play with on pro clubs. Drop-ins are not the one. Now, on FIFA 13, I actually did meet a good friend of mine now who, you know, online friend who I've met in real life through a drop-ins game. So I'm not saying never, but I'm just saying they're not a good place to play clubs and to find players who are good. Everybody does, unfortunately, play like the first point. They try to play like Messi, and sometimes you can get lucky and find it. So I'm saying is play drop-ins if you're looking for players sometimes, but don't rely on it. You know, don't become one of these guys who's played like 500 drop-in games. I guarantee you're going to pick up terrible habits. You're going to be a selfish player. You're not going to be used to playing with other players who make intelligent runs and do things smart. And yeah, it's just kind of one of those situations where, like I said, you are going to pick up some really bad habits in drop-ins, and although you can level your pro, it's just not the one. So if you can play with friends instead of drop-ins, that's a good idea to do. Our Discord link is in the description. You can go into our Discord and you can find people to play with. We have specific sections for Xbox and PS4, PS5 and then the new Xbox, and you can find people to play clubs with in there, and it's a free to join Discord where, you know, you can do that. So join our Discord, use the comment section of this video or any of our videos, and to be honest, let's get into point 5, which is 11-man pro clubs. I have not played 11-man pro clubs for about a year now properly, but it's brilliant. And if you can get into it, especially the first time, it's kind of like losing your virginity. It actually, does that work? Then I'd have to ask someone who's done it. But to be honest, the first time you get involved in 11s is always the best. Like, the first few months are incredible, and I love it, and I will get back to playing it at some point, whether that's VFL, VPG, VDB, DCBG, whatever it is, I'll get into it again. It's just that FIFA 20 killed it for me because of how bad the gameplay was on it. Now, I'm hearing FIFA 21's better, but with the disruptions and new PS5 and Xbox coming out, the leagues have kind of waited, and I think VFL's not even back on until February, so we'll see where we are then. But if you're new and you don't have a basic idea of what I'm talking about, VPG and VFL are just 2 websites that run. They're linked in the description. You can join them, and they run basically tournaments based around pro clubs. So you can play 11-man and you can find teams. There's forums on the websites. VPG uses a lot of Facebook, whereas VFL uses its website. And I really encourage people who are like loving clubs but their mates aren't as into it, or they don't have friends who play it, to get involved in these communities. Now, they can be quite toxic sometimes, but obviously that's like any esports community. So just keep your eyes out. If you don't want like your own information there, like make a different account that isn't your name, and to keep yourself at it, you know what I'm saying. But you will improve in this, and a way you'll improve is even if you join, so you might be intimidated to join an 11-man club because you'll see like the best players in there. They have leagues. It's the same as real football, so you can literally go down to like League 2. So if you want to go and play in League 2, the level's going to be a lot lower. There's admins who run all of the leagues. They do it all very well. So join a low-down team. Now, basically, to sum up, join our Discord, look into VFL or VPG, and even use this comment section to try and find people to play with. You're only ever going to really improve on something like pro clubs when you start playing with people who are around your level and better. Otherwise, you're just not going to see that improvement. Thank you for all the support this year. I guess that's where we'll end it. I hope this video has helped the newer of you to pro clubs. If you're still listening to this video, please do leave a like on it. It'd be good to break that 1,000 like barrier again. And yeah, big shout out to all the support. I think we came into this year on like high 80s, maybe low 90s in terms of subscribers, like 90,000. We leave it on 165,000. As I said, really close to 166. So a few of you can make a big difference. That's a lot of subs to gain in a year for us. So hopefully we can, again, do a similar ratio. We can gain like 100k. That would be mental this time next year. We'll see. We'll see. All my social links are in the description. I'll end it by saying Instagram. I'm going to choose the giveaway winners today, now that I'm back online and actually have some proper internet to look into it. So keep an eye out on my Instagram, World of JCC. 5 of you will be getting DMs with a prize for sending us the sentence. If you watched the last video, you know what I'm talking about. All right. Thank you for the support, guys. Have a safe and happy New Year, and hopefully 2021 is a lot better than whatever the fuck just happened.